Local recording on. T minus. Hey, this is the Surface Geeks podcast. We're bringing you episode number 33 on Wednesday, July the 31st. Today we're talking ChromeCast. We're going to be showing you ChromeCast. We're also going to be talking the brand new Nokia 1020. We've got a review right in the forums. We're going to be talking about Drive and Skydrive. A lot of Windows 8.1. I've got a new laptop, or do I? RT is in the news. Tons and tons and tons of news. Surface Geeks coming at you live. Well, welcome back, Darren. Took a week off, but now we're back.
We couldn't handle all that non-news last week, but made up for it in the following week.
Yes, it's been crazy. As soon as our podcast window was over, the news just started dropping like that. It's like, bring it on. Here it is. Let's do it.
I think we should start right off the top. It's the 1020 is out. The new Lumia.
1020 is out.
The new flagship Windows phone.
Flagship Windows phone.
If you're an AT&T user.
The phone that is a camera, the camera that is a phone. But hey, don't forget, follow Darren at FinsUpDNC. We're just nonchalant tonight. We're just going to be talking. Just a couple of Surface Geeks talking. Follow him on Twitter, FinsUpDNC. You'll get your mix of tech, your mix of politics, your mix of sports. Me, you're just going to get some snarky tech. That's about it. I'm gonna send you pictures of my pool and tell you where I'm at. That's about what I do. I'm at Surface Geeks. Or if you're the storage kind of guy, at Home Server Show. You can follow me as well. We've got those forums. Come out there and talk to us in the forums. SurfaceGeeks.net. Click the forums link. Please come talk to us. That's where you're going to find the review for the 1020. It's out there.
Really well done review, and I want to might as well give credit and thanks to DWayne27 in the forums. He's pretty. He posts a lot there, and he picked up the 1020 in Seattle, and he posted some pictures of it, and the pictures look awesome, and the pictures look as good as the others we've seen posted from other people. Everyone who's had the device seems to love the device, loves the camera. I mean, everyone seems to agree this is by far the best camera that's ever been put on a phone, and I guess that's not unexpected. A lot of the reviewers, as expected, would, but it's on the Windows Phone platform, which we've mocked a little bit in the past, but we'll talk about some other issues Windows Phone is starting to have, so maybe they were right and we're wrong, but we'll find out. I went to the store and actually convinced a client. Actually, didn't really convince them. The AT&T store did. They went in with a broken iPhone and walked out with a 1020. As they said, they use email and a camera, so why not?
Okay. You know what I was going to ask? We hear from the Windows Phone faithful. We've heard from this contingent. This phone is great. It's great. It's great. It's great. But I mean, have we heard from like this iPhone guy? An Android guy says, "Hey, this is making me switch. I'm doing it."
Well, this is one person who switched. One person, I think, who had 2 apps installed on his iPhone after 4 years.
That's not an iPhone guy.
Right. He loved the camera and the email. That's what he used. And that was it. So to him, it was a no-brainer because you have a better camera now.
Okay. Because I have some alternate thoughts. I've been mulling this phone over for several days.
You held the phone, right?
I have held the. Okay, I went to the Microsoft store.
Right.
Because I wanted to see this thing. I go in the store. I'm like, "Where's that 1020?" And they say it's out in the mall. I walked right by it. They had something set up where they had it on a tripod and they had it pointed against a screen where they were taking your picture, and then they would show you how they could zoom in, and all this stuff.
Nothing says check out your phone like putting it on a tripod.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. As I was like, okay, can I have one to touch? And he's like, he looked around. I forgot to tell you, by the way, that they recognized me. They didn't know me by name, but they're like, wait a minute, aren't you that? I'm like, yeah, that's me. So
You should have worn. You could have worn the Skydrive shirt.
I don't know if that was good or bad, but I'm like, yeah, that's me. So he looks around, he reaches in his pocket, and he pulls out a brand new 1020, and he hands it to me. He turns around and goes and starts doing his thing, and I'm just like, okay, maybe this one little moment, I feel like, okay, I've made it. This one little moment.
More like he knows where to find you.
Exactly. Okay, complete trust in me. Yeah, I should have just bolted right then. But yeah, the first thing was like, he handed it to me, and I expected the weight of the 920. And I think I told you in our show notes, I was like, when you go to Chili's and they bring you those mugs and they set them down with your soda or your water or your drink in them, they look like this big glass mug, and then you grab the handle. This is Chili's.
There's no liquid in them either.
And there's no weight to it because it's plastic. And that's what you feel like when you pick up this phone. It's like, oh, well, there's no weight to it. It's just like this
it feels hollow
thing. Yeah, there's nothing in it. This is the demo unit. But sure enough, I was able to flip through the screens and take pictures. It was awesome.
Yeah, the AT&T store had a really nice setup where next to the display where they put the 1020s, they had this like it was a cartoon characters, like little figurines, like in a setting of grass and other stuff, with a glass bulb over it. And they told me to take a picture of the figurine. So I take the picture, and then they said, now zoom in, now that the picture's taken. And the figurines, which were tiny, are each holding these little specks. But when you zoomed in, the little specks were newspapers.
Wow.
And you saw it perfectly clear. It was a really cool demo. So I was very impressed with that. First of all, the fact they had this set up the morning it came out.
Yeah.
In an AT&T.
Yeah, see, I skipped the demo.
Store.
I should have done the demo, but I think they were preparing the demo for this store, and it was when I kind of interrupted them.
Right. So, but here's the thing. Again, it does have the Amber update, which is the next Microsoft update combined with the next Nokia update. Combined, they call it Amber. The 920 is yet to get it.
It had the new information on the lock screen.
Yeah, it has a different option. It has some wake options that are a little different.
Do you know what I did first thing?
You waved your hand over it.
No, I picked it up, and on the lock screen, I could see the time on it, right, without it.
Mm-hmm.
I just double tapped on that screen, and it unlocked. I was like, hey, how cool is that? Double tap to unlock. And he was like...
Oh, instead of dragging up.
What? What? So I showed them something. I was pretty proud moment. I was like, pick up the phone, double tap to unlock. Boom.
You can also wave your hand over the phone, and it lights up.
Yeah, that's what they did. They were like, yeah, but it's got this too.
Right, that's if you ever need the time, it's just sitting on your desk. You don't have to touch anything. Just put your hand near it.
Yeah.
So cool little features like that. It's not a major update from either.
It's not major.
FM radio is back, which the 900. Yeah, the FM
radio. I really like that feature.
Yeah. So anyway, you have the bigger, greater camera in the same form factor, but it weighs less. So if you're looking for a new Windows phone, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
If you're on AT&T, obviously. The pictures are unbelievable. We have a few in the chat room. Andy Notko put some up today on his review at the Sun. I saw it on his site. I'm sure it's at the Sun Times too.
Oh, okay. His review's out. I definitely want to read that. I like.
And he was on Mac Break Weekly yesterday. And if you didn't watch that show, go watch the podcast from yesterday. He spent about 5-10 minutes just raving about the phone.
Oh, really?
More about the camera. He said he took them at bad angles with one hand, eating sunflower seeds in the other hand, and just fixed them later and made them look straight. And he said the camera was, and he's a photographer. That's one thing. He is an avid photographer, and he always tests out cameras. And he didn't write the review for a few weeks for the reason was his first review was so good, especially about the pictures, he was trying to break it. He was trying to find what he was missing. And he loved the camera. Again, you have to want the Windows Phone, but he raved about the camera, and he said the 1020 camera is far and away better than any camera phone on the market. Light years ahead of the iPhone 5, which he says light years ahead of every other camera phone, which I think we all agree with.
Yeah,
I think the 920 and the 920, that range is in there at the 5, but
I don't even think the iPhone guy is going to argue with you about that.
right, exactly,
Everybody knows.
exactly.
Yeah.
So at this point, it turns into ecosystem. Uh, there was an ad. I think it was actually paid for by Microsoft. I don't know if you saw it. I saw it on TV. Uh, it showed just taking picture. It was cool. It showed its camera. Um, but someone actually, I was posting, oh, great camera, great camera, and someone responded to me like, did you download MP3s when they came out? And of course, I said yes. They said you didn't care about the quality loss because it was, better. You just wanted the camera the same way I just want a picture. I don't need a 41 megapixel picture. So for photo enthusiasts, people who don't want to carry a second camera, it's for you. Is it for everybody? I don't know. It's also it's pretty expensive for a smartphone.
Yeah, see, I'm going to answer you, and I say no. I say no. And I think this is just a showpiece. I think it does nothing for the platform except it shows it off. It exposes. It's a, hey, look what we can do.
Which is great, by the way. Even if it sells more of the cheaper devices, you need the flagship.
I completely understand. But what the platform needs is one of those devices that will actually pull and draw in Android folks and iPhone folks, and I just don't think that this is the one that'll do it.
Is there a device to do that, or is there an ecosystem to do that?
I think it's both. Good point. I think it's both. For the first thing, I'm glad that Anatco's is putting it on MacBreak Weekly, because that does expose it to, thousands and thousands of Mac heads and iPhone people.
And people who held onto their iPhones based on the camera. There are a lot of people who refuse to switch over to any other phone because, listen, say what you want about the iPhone 4, 4S, 5, might not be the best sensor. They use the same sensor as the Samsungs, actually. I think it's a Sony sensor. But they do something. They come out a lot better than the Samsung's version on the same sensor. So people have held on for the camera.
Yeah, and I upgraded back when I held a 4. I upgraded to the 4S because it had a better camera, and that was my thing. But you're talking about getting someone to switch ecosystems entirely. Your Windows guy, it's no problem. It's the best phone out there. You got to be on AT&T, but yeah, it's the best Windows phone out there. And Nokia is, by and large, the best Windows phone maker out there. But
I think hardware-wise, I think Nokia might be. I still think they make the best hardware. I don't think that ever stopped. I just think we stopped seeing them in the U.S. for years. I think the hardware is there, and I think even Nokia. We saw that this week. We have another story in there. The Nokia, I think it was the president of Nokia, VP of Nokia, was getting a little fed up with the slowness of the Microsoft updates and what Microsoft's doing with the ecosystem. Because I think Nokia, say what you want, these devices, the hardware is great. Some might be heavy, but you have every size, every variation, from top to bottom. Price ranges from a penny to $300, $100 off contract. We have versions. He was ready to pass the buck.
If we can get them into the ecosystem, and that's the whole thing. I think the thing with the 1020 to me is, it looks a little hokey.
Yeah.
With the big camera bulb on the back, you can't lay the thing down. Everybody's raving about the grip, the battery grip thing. Darren, why do I think it's dorky? I think it's dorky.
I agree with you, but let's say you keep that in your bag, you're going on vacation, you're walking around museums, you're walking around a city. It's a day where you would be taking out your point and shoot 400 times. You put the grip on that day, and it's your camera. That just happens to be your phone, but it's your camera for the day.
Yeah.
I don't think for most people, I don't think it's a 24/7 accessory. Though it might be, people. There are geeks and dorks like you. It might be dorky,
Please,
but some people
do not make this your 24/7 accessory. It's got a wrist strap. You can slide a wrist strap into it.
It's a point and shoot. It's like the Canons or the Elfs or the whatever.
Point and shoot. Honestly.
Well, it's better quality, but it's that feel when you put the grip on. That's what it is. And it sits on a tripod, which with the grip on, which I guess they were showing off at the new fine Indianapolis Microsoft store.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, but I think the hardware is there, so I don't think we can. Samsung's still making. They have a new ATIV come. And HTC just came out with a new one. I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of happy to see at least they're continuing on. You have the 8XT on Sprint now available.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I think it's a great phone. I'm going to take it back. I just don't see a whole lot of penetration in that. And I know it's $300, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked up the S4 is $300. There's got to be a couple other phones that are.
Most places have the S4 now for $150 or $199.
Okay.
But anyway, I think Amazon has the other one, the Nokia 1020 for $269 now. But the Microsoft Store is giving the best deal though, because they give you the camera grip and some of the challengers said, and the $50 gift card.
Right.
So you get something out of it. You can get some free apps.
That's what it's going to take, is to get rid of that. I think the price and the stigma of carrying, to me, what looks like kind of a dorky phone.
I think you have to be careful with price. I think that was, and I think they knew this when the 920 came out, and that whole line now, the 928, the 925, came out. At first it was priced at the 199, and they quickly lowered it to the point where I know the 920, even before the 1020 was $50 free, a penny, with contract. And people, I know it sounds ridiculous, but if you're giving them a premium, people want to feel like they're paying for a premium product. If you believe your phone is as good, and if you're putting it on par with the S4, the HTC One, and the iPhone 5, if you price it way below, a few dollars is fine. People will be like, oh, this must be junk.
Yeah.
You have to be very careful with. You can't just say, our phone is just as good and we'll give it to you for free. Because, yeah, some people will be like, great. But most people can be like, wait a second. You get what you pay for. Something's up here.
Yeah.
And
no, it's a great point. They did that really wrong with the 928. That thing fell price-wise very, very quickly.
Same with the 920. I mean, yeah. So I don't.
This one, I mean, this is a premier phone. They should treat it as such, and I think $299 is definitely a hindrance to get into the phone. I think $199 is more aligned with what people would be able to spend on to get into the new ecosystem. But
the pricing of phones is bizarre. People will get a piece of crap free Android phone because it's free, and they know it's a piece of crap. And instead of paying $100 for, you can get $100 for a pretty premier one. When over that 2 or 3 year contract you're signing, the cost of the phone the day you get it is it's peanuts compared to what you're paying for that phone.
Right. Well, that brings me back to your first comment about the MP3.
Right.
And the comment was bringing it to, back when MP3 started, the quality was horrible, but your music was somewhat portable. So there was a trade-off, and the kids said, that's cool. I'll take that trade-off because now I can take my music in my car, on my bike, whatever I'm doing.
We had MP3s long before you could take them in your car. They were sitting on your desktop. You couldn't get them off your desktop. Maybe you could burn them on the disc. Not many players played them, but yeah, I mean, I think it was called free.
Yeah. there was a trade-off. So, but I witnessed this firsthand a couple of weeks ago, where family members were picking out phones, and they were picking out some T-Mobile Android phones that were free, and they're mediocre at best, and the camera to them was just fantastic. They took a picture, they saw it on their screen,
right?
It looked great, and it was the greatest thing since sliced bread to these folks. And it really wasn't. It was mediocre at best. But that is the majority of the crowd that's out there that's picking out phones.
But to put it on Facebook, does it matter?
Yeah, and the phones in the picture that you're giving them with the 1020, that's all great and good, but these folks, You know, they're looking at the LG cheapo, and it works. They
Yeah.
like it. That's all they need. So
And this does
it's a,
come back to the ecosystem, which had some news this week. And I think we're starting to see the issues that are at hand. And one of them is we've talked about the last few weeks, Instance, which is at the time, I guess right now it's the best version of a third-party Instagram client we have on the Windows Phone.
right.
But it is a third-party client, not approved by Instagram. They reverse engineered the API, and all of a sudden, in the last few days, people who are posting pictures from this app saw them disappearing off the Instagram network. Um, there's been some other changes since. It seems to be working again for right now. So if you are using that, is good news. For a while, they turned all pictures into private. Some were being deleted, but now it seems to be working. But this is when you're dealing with third-party apps, especially with non-open APIs and this is a problem, because if you're a Microsoft employee or for AT&T employee, and someone comes into your store and says, "Hey, but you have no Instagram," and you say, "Hey, but look, you got Instant," you can't say that. Because if you say that and 2 days later Instagram says, "You know what, I'm cutting this, off," it's a problem with the ecosystem where it is expected. And Instagram, everyone knows, was bought by
Facebook.
Facebook, and even the Facebook app. I'm sure you have it on your 928.
No, I do not.
Really?
Use.
Oh well, it's including the People Hub if you get that alert. But the Facebook app, which they've done a good job building, is still built by Microsoft. And Facebook.
There's my Fs.
Wow, you're
Flight
a rebel.
radar.
Rebel.
Photo rebel.
But Microsoft is building this app and putting all their people behind it and their money behind it, and Facebook's not. Microsoft is building this app still. Now it looks a lot more like the Android and iOS app this iteration. It's still missing some features because it's not a full. Third parties only have a limited API compared to what Facebook uses, obviously. And even that's done to the point where, first of all, Microsoft is an investor in Facebook, which is kind of ironic, but obviously not enough of an investor. But people on Twitter were discussing this yesterday with Instance and photos being pulled. Is Instagram coming? Does this mean an official Instagram client is coming? If that was the case, you'd think we would have heard it at the announcement where they announced Path and Vine and those, which are coming. Or some people said, do they just want no part of this platform? And then people are saying why they wanted to kill Microsoft. And I saw one comment that made me think maybe they were onto something. Because I read an article this week, I forget which app it was, has an iOS and an Android app. The iOS app, they had a few people working on. The Android app, because of all the different iterations of phones and sizes and
yeah.
all this, they had a huge team working on Android. And when they went to Android, they had a. I'm wondering, is it, do these companies say, you know what, we don't want to promote a product that's not there yet? Facebook's like, do we want to put money behind it?
Yeah.
Because it is a money thing. I don't think Facebook. You wouldn't.
Sorry,
they have no reason, but
you buzzed out there for a minute there.
they have no reason to want Microsoft not to succeed. You would think, Facebook, for example.
Right.
But they're in a money-making position. They have resources. Right now they have a certain amount of resources as people who are programmers who are working on products, and maybe as a whole they're deciding we're not putting resources on the Windows Phone platform at all, which is strange, but it's definitely a negative to the platform. And I thought by now the numbers are growing. I think it was almost up to about 4%. I think we're up to 4% in the U.S., slowly getting up to 3%. 10% in Europe. I think it was 10% in Europe or close to it. So the adoption rate is pretty significant, especially considering that these companies are making BlackBerry 10 apps.
Yeah.
I think we just can't afford to help boost a new platform into the market. I think it's something is just, even the YouTube app we were promised is coming back is not out yet. Vine, Path, all these apps. We've heard of a Path. I read an article, I know they promised that it's again, the path is coming soon. I read an article from 2011 that path was coming soon.
Yeah. Yeah, this time last year, Amazon Cloud Player was supposed to be here too.
Right.
I would kill for that app. I'd pay $20 for that app. You put it in the store. If it was written by Amazon, I'd pay $20.
And Amazon is another player where they just want eyes on their stuff. They don't care shouldn't care where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But so again, they wouldn't be holding off to hurt Microsoft, to hurt Windows Phone. Something in the numbers, something they're seeing. All these big companies are seeing something. It's not just adoption rates, because we are seeing a little bit of increase in adoption rates. Something is telling these companies that's just not worth it. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if you have any. Something is there.
Well, I'm a little rough on the 1020 because I get the phone, but then again, I kind of don't get it. I more get the positive thing that Nokia is doing with, like the 928 and lower. They're putting those, I call it the home shopping network phone, so we can get phones into people. We can spread around the marketplace to more and more people. I think that they're doing a fantastic job with the lower end, the penny phones and the $99 phones. But I can't answer your question for marketplace because I know the phone is reaching people. I see it. I don't see it a lot.
No, I don't see it a lot.
But I've seen it out there. I don't know if they don't have the true numbers or not. I think it's the stigma behind it's a Microsoft product and it's mobile and there's no apps. That's the stigma with this product. There's no apps.
That is the stigma. It's sad because I still say, like I said before, I think Nokia is making, and I think the HTC 8X is great too. So I think we have two iterations here of just absolutely great, tremendous hardware. Definitely good enough hardware to win battles, like to put in the marketplace that we stand against anyone. Windows Phone out of the box, we've talked about it before. I think turn it on, put in some accounts, works better than any other OS right now.
Yeah, I would throw some things out there for you. It's not as easy and to figure out as you would think. My wife, she always grabs my phone. Just always grabs my phone. And inevitable, she's just going to be over there beside me in the car. I don't know how to work this thing. I don't know how to do this thing. Where do you find this? How do you do this? Where do you do that? So,
Monica says the same thing, except she knows how to play. Does your wife play Wordament? That's a.
Oh, I don't load games on my phone that others would find attractive because I don't want them touching it. I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't. I'm like, that's my phone. It's my work phone. Don't touch it.
There you go.
I think it's not as intuitive as you and I, as Windows Phone enthusiasts, would have others believe. I think it's a steep learning curve, and I think newness may scare people because they've got their icons and grids. They know where to find them. They know how to get them, and then this thing hides icons in the Games Hub. It hides them in the Camera Hub. You have this long, tall list to get, it's like, well, where do you find this? Well, you just go like this, and, you're in the store flicking 3 times. Oh, there it is. Weatherbug. It's all the way at the bottom.
It's alphabetical. You can click the letter and press W.
Yeah, I know. You pin it to start. Put it where you want it. Make this thing your own. That's the thing that I like about it is I know where all these applications are on either my first screen or my second screen. And I've even started loading things on the bottom with big tiles to get to certain other things. But things that they're not going to find, I still find email somewhat frustrating as an enthusiast because I have many email boxes that I like to take with me.
Okay.
I still find Twitter to be one of the most frustrating experiences on the phone day
That,
in and day out. I cannot settle on a Twitter app.
I know a lot of people complain there's no notification center in Windows Phone, and this response, and it was my response for a while was, "Oh, your live tiles show you." But if we tweet something or if we message a few times, the live tile doesn't really show you, whereas an Android
No,
or
you need
Windows.
a notification center. I'm sorry. You need a
I'm
notification.
starting to come around on that.
The whole thing is my phone, okay, is sitting over there, and I
Right.
hear that text, ding ding,
So you're gonna have
or
60 things when you're done.
or I hear a tweet,
Right.
and I know my screen just turned on. There's going to be a green bar at the top. I'm running over to the kitchen counter. I'm running over there. I grab
It's
the
gone.
phone.
It's gone.
It goes blank, and it's
Yep.
gone. That notification is gone forever, and to me, that is the stupidest thing
I think
ever.
there's no reason why we swipe right for apps. We should swipe left for notifications,
Swipe
and
somehow.
I think
I
that would just
am
make sense. There's
using.
nothing left. I mean, if you go left, there's nothing there. You might as well do something.
I thought that I was content with Rowi, ROWI,
I used that for a while before the official Twitter app got better.
and that frustrates me. Then
I agree. I agree.
I found, oh crap, what was it?
The me tweets, or
The
whatever.
bunny,
Oh, I haven't
Twabbit,
tried.
Twabbit. Twabbit is the app, but their notifications don't work. I think they can't get into Twitter somehow.
Oh, because of the whole token thing, maybe.
Yeah, so I think they're dead in the water.
And I
Twabbit
and I
is the
think
app.
they don't even have to concede they want to notificate. People, we don't need it. We don't need it. Just say we didn't. We gave you a toast history because they call those things up top toasts, right?
Okay.
Okay, so you can go check your toast history,
Toast history.
and that's Windows Phone. It's not copying from anybody.
Where
It
can I
keeps.
check my toasts?
That's the whole point. Should swipe left, and we should see toast history.
Well, is there an app
No, there's someone working on a third-party app. You need.
to get into Toast?
Yeah, well, no, there's a third-party app where it basically do that, but each app would have to actually send the toast there as well. So it's like depending on other apps to use it.
I just list my toasts. I just want to open the door to the toaster.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what we need. But
Toast.
it doesn't seem to be coming right now.
Apps and games. We could not find a match.
That's no
So
toast.
yes, I'm on Me Tweets,
Okay, you're on me tweets now.
and sometimes it just drives me so bazonkers because I have multiple accounts. To change accounts, you just tap your account name up here. The tap target is so small. Sometimes it won't do it. Sometimes it just lists the little bar says add account. No, I'm tapping you so I can change accounts. You tap it again, add account. So you have to hit the back button and then you hit it again. Okay, I need to refresh to home server show, add account. And it's just the most frustrating thing. Sometimes you open the app and it won't refresh, no matter how many times you pull to refresh. So you
I've
have to
tried
hit
all third parties,
the
and
refresh button off and then on. Drives me
as
nuts.
as annoying as the official Twitter app is, sometimes I still think to me it's the best experience. I used Rowie for a while. Rowie was the one I used for a while, but
Yeah.
I still
And
think
I'm back on the podcasts.
okay.
Lately, I've been using what is this thing? I don't even know what it is anymore. iPodcast. And it drives me batty. Sometimes I want to throw the phone out the window.
Hmm.
I do. I'm thinking about getting an iPod thing,
Like an iPod Touch.
and I'll just leave it on Wi-Fi and
You
have
can
it just download when I'm in the
right.
garage.
Hey, listen, you can always tether it to if you're on LTE on that phone. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it just drives me nuts.
There is certain things that I don't understand. That shouldn't be that hard. It's just an RSS feed. It
I've
shouldn't.
downloaded Podcast Picker. I will try that.
Okay.
I've gone through. There's people I like. The
Uh,
guys that wrote CarbonCast.
yeah.
Uh,
Agreed.
like the guys, but drives me nuts. I'm gonna try Podcast Picker next. So
It's just interesting. And then, I mean, I think this fits well with the news. The Android today got Office for Android.
I saw that.
So now we have Office for iPhone and Android.
And Android.
Not, and I don't know if this is, the new Microsoft thing, and I understand it because in one sense, Microsoft, yes, they want to promote their own devices, their Windows phones, but at the same time, they want to promote Office and the new Office and the subscription model. And the only way to use these new versions of Office is to buy the subscription. And there are going to be a lot of people who own Android phones and iPhones who work in organizations or just live in Office, Excel or Word, or who are going to be like, wait, if I upgrade 2013 now, I get this app here? And they're going to do it. So one sense, I get why Microsoft does that. But as a Windows Phone fan, as you are and I am, it's frustrating as hell. It's frustrating as hell right now because on my Galaxy S3, which is right here, I have a better Office experience. It's actually better. A much better Skype experience. And the only thing, OneNote, they upgrade, it's pretty good too.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's pretty good. So, and even the Outlook.com, the mail app, you can, push notifications. You put in your bar on the bottom, and off you go. You can very happily live in the Microsoft online ecosystem with any phone right now, and
except our own, maybe.
Well, it works fine. I mean, listen, my whole thing was,
and I try to cut them some slack. I'm like, these guys, they
new. Have to make money. It's not even that.
This is a new ecosystem, and I'm trying to give them time, especially the podcast guys. I don't mean to just berate them because I know you need time.
They've heard from
to figure out what we need. You got to fix your bugs. You got to add your features. I'm fine.
It worked better.
I want them to just get it done, and I'll pay you money for your app.
It worked better previously. The Zune Marketplace worked better with podcasts. That's what's frustrating. And the podcast exclamation mark app, which I use, was written by the Windows Phone guys from Microsoft.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm not saying it's...
I wanted to like that app.
See, I like it. I mean, it took a little tweaking and adjusting settings and turning off notifications. But it's better than the iteration that's in the phone.
Oh, yeah. No, the phone is completely unacceptable. I think I'm fairly easy. I want 0 downloads. I want to be able to download them when I go on a plane.
But I stream them.
Tap, download.
Right,
0 downloads. I want the feed in there, and I want playlists. I want to know my unplayed playlists.
Mm-hmm.
As a one, and then maybe if I can drill it down, and I can say, here are my Windows unplayed, my Windows guys. Maybe here's my tech guys, my Android guys, my Apple guys, and that I listen to. Whatever I get a hankering for.
Right.
I want to listen to Twit, and I have a playlist for all the Twit unplayeds or something. So.
Right, exactly. Well, that's like even on the Android, where they have a ton of options, or the iPhone. My favorite app on here is BeyondPod. It's pretty much a simple RSS reader. It streams them unless I press download, and I go.
That's what I used when I was on Android years ago. That's what I used.
It's simple and works.
I probably still have it. I've paid for it, right?
They have a free upgrade, yeah.
If I hook it up to my Google account, it'll just say I could download it.
It's just, but Microsoft. We talked about the reorg a few weeks ago, and that's not taking place for a while. People talk. Where's everyone going? So I don't know if this is
not fixed yet.
Yes, shockingly. So I think we're still working in that whole silo department. So I don't know how this decision came. If the Office people said, "Hey, we got to sell more Office subs at this point," and didn't say what's the cost to the other department, and that's the whole idea of the reorg, saying, if we make 20 here but lose 25 here, is it worth it? Vice versa. That was the whole thing. They weren't talking to each other like that.
Well, is this gonna slow us down?
Slow down Windows Phone?
Yeah, because I mean that's what Nokia is saying. Is like, guys, we're with you.
Right.
Let's pump it out.
The Windows Phone is upgrade.
Oh, I lost your video. You're a little bandwidthy on me. Let's take a break. Let your bandwidth catch up, because I can't see you. We'll let that catch up. You can't hear me, folks.
I hear you.
Okay. Hang on. Let your bandwidth catch up.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. Google, we were talking good about Android. Please turn my
I am.
bandwidth back on. Please.
Anything?
And much better.
Okay.
Much better.
We have Windows Blue, I was saying, and Windows Blue is the next iteration of Windows 8. It's also the next iteration of Windows Server. It's the next iteration of their entire platform, including Windows Phone.
But from what I heard, we're talking 2014, right?
We're talking 2014 on the phone.
This is my tap to unlock stuff.
No, there's an in-between update.
Or is that RD2?
That's coming now. That should be coming next 2 weeks.
That's my RD2. See,
GDR2. Yeah.
I'd be happy with that. I'd be a happy camper. You give me little things, but maybe give me little things. That's why I like Nokia so much. And
they're pushing their apps. The Nokia experience outside of the Windows Phone, I mean, solid. It's solid.
It's the best. I don't know how you would buy another Windows Phone.
Well, luckily you can use the Here apps now and everything. I think that's Nokia saying, hey, we'll try to promote the platform. Here, take them. But the ProShot camera app, whatever it's called, on the 1020 is unreal. I mean, I don't know if you really played with that. But
I did play with that.
I'm not a camera, and you know more about cameras. You know, I don't really know ISO, white balance, that. But I was just playing with buttons and watching it was awesome watching the live picture before I take a change to show me what it's going to look like. Like you don't see, are there many digital cameras that do that, SLRs and stuff?
No, that's cool. I gotta admit that's cool.
That's Nokia is doing something, and it's funny. Nokia was struggling for years, and the Symbian, and it's just hardware-wise, and there's some really cool stuff that comes out of that company.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how you would buy, and I used to think the 8X looked cool, and I wanted an 8X, but
the form factor is good on that.
Yeah.
And you have to wonder, and I don't know if you saw this last week when the 1020, all these good reviews came out, even from the places we mock, like The Verge and all these places. The 1020, the camera's great. Only if it ran Android. Really? Only if it ran Android. Let's look at Android. What they're talking about when they say this, they don't mean Android. They mean Samsung. Because other than Samsung, the other companies are not hitting home runs with this platform. HTC, which has apparently right now, a lot of people think, especially the reviewers that we're talking about, they think HTC has the best Android phone out there right now, the HTC One, right? Gorgeous hardware, blah, blah. So what did HTC say yesterday or today? Hey, stock market, just to let you know, we're going to have a loss this quarter. Warning you before our earnings come out. We have a loss coming.
Nice.
LG is doing okay at best. I don't know if Sony even, I mean, they make phones and they keep coming out, but I don't know if they're selling any. And I think this is Google's very afraid of this, by the way. Samsung's becoming, and even Samsung's been getting some bad. The S4 has not been, I don't know if you saw the story also now, it turned out they faked the benchmarks.
Yeah, I
see that?
saw that, yeah.
They put, and I know this, a couple companies got in trouble for doing this on video drivers years ago, and that might be more your speed, where if a benchmark app turns on, it basically faked what processor was being used to make the benchmarks look good. And this is not surprising coming from a company whose whole thing is just never innovate. They just copy. That's all Samsung does. That's their business. It's been their business in TVs. It's their business on the phone. They knew they'd lose that court battle to Apple, and they didn't care. It's pricey doing business.
Yeah.
They got into the market. They got enough people to say, "Hey, it looks just like an iPhone. I'll take it." And now they have a market, and they're building on it. Even Leo on Twitter today, on This Week in Google, said his S4 has just, it'll take 10 minutes. He presses a button, 5 minutes for it to react, because TouchWiz is so bad on it. Even the S3 here has no Samsung products on it. It was unusable. I had to root it and put on CyanogenMod and all that crap. And it's great.
That's a good thing. That makes me happy.
That's a cool thing. But I can't tell normal Joe, I want to buy a phone and use it person. Just go home. What you want to do is you want to root the phone first.
Find the root ROM.
Okay. Yeah. Then you get downloaded ROM. Now there are a lot of ROMs, so pick carefully.
No, you say you got a crappy phone. You need
Right,
to go buy another phone.
right, and
That's a good thing.
it's just
Thanks,
unbelievable.
Samsung.
Right, right. At least Samsung lets you do it. A lot better, they're
Well, I
pretty
heard
easy.
who was talking about this or writing about it somewhere that it was just this. It was like this weird world where they're like, well, Samsung should make a Windows phone,
They do.
and Nokia would be better off if they made an Android phone. I was like, wow, that's
First of all,
something to chew on.
I don't even think that what would be the I don't think it would matter, but it's just the idea that Android's doing so well on every, this idea that these reviewers have only ran on Android. All the reviewers, first of all, they use either a Nexus device, which is the higher end Google phones, or the Google Play editions now of the One and the S4, which is like when I root this, and that's what I put a vanilla Android basically on it, and it works great. But the majority of the world is not using that. And Nokia, if they went on Android, would not be using that. They'd
Right.
be putting
No,
their
you're right.
camera app in, and they'd be using, and it just bloats. And we have new Kindle Fires coming out, and it's going to be on top of Android 4.2.2, I think. But who cares? You never see Android 4.2.2. You see the Kindle thing on top of it, or HTC Sense. So the idea, though, that if Nokia grabs 6%, 8%, or even 10% of a 3 billion person smartphone market in the next 20 years, they're doing okay. They don't need 51%. No one does. And these tech reviewers who also think they're stock market analysts have this idea: if you're not 51%, you're failing. You know, like they say the iPhone's dropping, it's dropping. They're still the number one phone sold in the US as a per phone by far. All the things came out today. I saw the headlines: more Google Play downloads than iPhone for the first time. But you open the article, it turns out, yeah, good, there's more downloads. iOS revenue kicks the crap out of Google on their small percentage. Um, so this idea that just stick Android on it, it's the perfect device, is so foolhardy. It's just, I don't know where it comes from. It's this, I know, but we have to know better than them. And I think Nokia knew when they went Windows Phone not because they had to and they believed it was the greatest product in the world, the greatest platform in the world. They said, we have iPhone and Apple, and no one's getting into that market unless you're building an iPhone or an iPhone C for cheap now, apparently. Uh, then you have Android, which has, what's it? In the last 3 months, I think I saw 1,086 Android phones have come out in the last 3 months.
Yeah, I believe it. How do you compete with that?
Okay, so you want to jump into that cesspool?
No,
Great for you.
it would be you'd be a minnow in a school of fish. That's
Right, exactly.
how do
And
you yeah.
it's not even a school of fish because you have Samsung, which is just a shark eating up the minnows right now, the
Yeah.
other fish. And they're not putting out great product. And I know tomorrow Google has a big announcement here in New York, the Moto X, which is the first Motorola phone to be put out since it's really run by Google.
We'll see what that looks like.
And I have a feeling it'd be really cool, and it should be, because Google needs to say, hey, this is what Android needs to look like. Don't look at
Right.
the fake Broadway show that Samsung just put on at Radio City Music Hall and that insulted every woman around the world. But here is what our phone needs to look like. And I hope it's good, because I'd like to see the higher end phones. I'd like to be able to buy any phone and any platform and have it work, which we can't do right now because Google hasn't come over to Windows or Windows phones. But the idea that these people are putting out there that if they only put Android on it is just asinine. And I went back and forth with some writer on Twitter last week. I don't remember which one it was. Is like, well, LG's doing well. LG sold maybe a fraction of percentage more than Nokia did last quarter. So if they're doing well, Nokia's doing well. You can't have it both ways. If you're going to say LG is the standard, you can't have it both ways. Nokia Windows Phone, I don't think it's going anywhere. It's around. It's not RT, which we'll get to in a minute. It's 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 a moneymaker. They don't need 51%. They can get 8% of a multi-billion-dollar world market. And by the way, they're doing a really good job in the lower-end markets where a lot of these phones are being sold, and a lot better than Apple is with their iPhones. And that's why the rumors of the new iPhone C are coming out, which is the lower-end iPhone, because they see the writing on the wall. They need to get in those markets too, and Nokia's in those markets. So Nokia's going to be just fine. Whether it's for everybody, it'll never be for everybody. But the idea that Android would save the 1020 is just, it's crazy.
That's a mess. That's what gets Darren fired up. I just let him go. Turn him loose.
Where do we go for tech news? Where do you go for tech news right now?
Stop reading The Verge, Darren. It's just pissing me off.
Okay. Read the Wall Street Journal, New York Times. Where do you go for tech news?
Apple, Android, Apple, Android, Apple, Android.
But I mean, it's a serious. I'm not saying I mean, listen, it's still tech news in the end, and they're mostly gadgets that work, and they put in our pocket. No matter which one you buy, it's going to work for you. So it's not like we're talking about World War III here. We're not that serious of news, but it is, especially financially. These stories have impacts.
Seattle Times.
Seattle Times. Oh, there you go. Right off Microsoft's campus. Is this Pioneer Press still around? I think it's what it's called, right? The Chronicle, the San Francisco Chronicle. But this idea that there really isn't a place where you can just. I want to go somewhere that says, "Here's what happened." The NPR of plain vanilla, no emotion. Here's the story. Ars Technica, by the way, is pretty good on that most of the time. But even they're trying to get, we need clicks too. Hey, over here.
Yeah.
There's some good reporters, and even the Microsoft guys last week when the ChromeCast was announced, I was like, don't start. They're doing the same thing the Apple guys and the Google guys do. Who needs this device? What a piece of crap. And what do you think of the ChromeCast?
My ChromeCast. Okay. Well, then this might be hard for a lot of you to hear, because I really like Airplay. Now, granted, I don't use it a lot anymore because I don't have an iOS device. I do have the iPad Mini. I have that, and let's say, for example, we get in the pool. I've got speakers outside. I've got an Airport Express. I can bring up a playlist on the iPad or the iPhone or whatever, and send it to that Airport Express, and it'll go outside to my pool room. Now, what I used to do is, on my iPhone, I would listen to podcasts on the iPhone. I would come in from the garage, and I would bring up the podcast in its native app, and as soon as I got into the kitchen, I could say, push to Airplay, and it would put it out on the speakers in my house, and I would just set the phone down and go about my whatever I'm doing. So I like that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff is very cool, and you can get an Airport Express for $99. You can just set it up as a Wi-Fi device with a speaker output. You can buy a set of $25 computer speakers. You can hide that in kitchen cabinets or wherever, and you've got distributed audio. The poor man's distributed audio. What I've done is just hooked my Airport Express into a small amplifier and then run that into a source in my home audio distribution system. It's a source. I leave that source on 24/7 so I can bring up like a Spotify playlist. It's great at Christmas. It's a poor man's what's that? Wireless Sonos.
Sonos, yeah.
It's a poor man's Sonos. Instead of $500, you're paying $100, and you can put it wherever you want. So I like that technology. Now, the ChromeCast is, as I purchased it today, it's very limited. I mean, this is a very limited device right now. You can push mostly from Android. YouTube, and Netflix. And they've got a slew of other folks that have jumped on board as of today. From your Chrome browser in either Windows or Mac, You can push an entire tab.
Or Linux. I don't want to make sure.
Linux, sorry, Linux guys. Don't send hate mail. You can push an entire tab. You can go to YouTube. You can push a YouTube video. I went to Amazon's Prime player on a Google Chrome tab with the Chrome browser, and I was able to push that entire tab to the TV, and it worked fine. And I could go to other tabs and keep looking at email and watch the TV. Looked great. Of course, it's in a little window, and there's a browser around it. Now you can make that full screen, but then you lose the computer. So if you're just pushing a tab, then you're good to go. But for $35, it was a great risk to check it out. It comes with a little HDMI extender, which is very useful. It does need power on the end of the ChromeCast. It has a little USB power cord. A lot of the tech press really tore it apart for it needing power, and they thought it was an ugly solution to get power to it. And I would say it's not as ugly as you may think. Here is the power brick, which if you're not going to use it, you just now got an extra place to charge your phone.
I was going to say, they give you $35 in accessories right there.
Yeah, you put this in the kitchen, and now you can charge your phone with it. So this thing works out well, because when you put this on the back of your TV, look on the back for a USB port. 9 times out of 10, there's going to be one there, and you can use the power on that, and that's what I'm using behind me. If you can see on the video, it's raring to go back there. You can push anything you want to it, and I don't think it's going to be like a great solution until a lot of apps come to it that you can start pushing to, and I think that they need to get on many different platforms. I think they need to get off of just Android and start.
Well, I think they're on iOS.
Yeah, but I don't know what. I mean,
Netflix, YouTube, I think, for sure.
Remember, I used to be the iPhone guy, and once you get off the platform, you really lose.
Well, here's some good news with this device too, even for us Windows Phone people. Of course, the app makers have to do it, but if they want to put that same little button in our Windows Phone Netflix app, there's no reason they can't do it.
I would hope so. If it's easy, let's do it, right?
I mean, apparently it's totally open. Google's not blocking it, and just why not? I mean, I assume Netflix can put it on every one of it's a button.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you one thing that's cool. Now this is one of the reasons I really liked being on the iOS platform, is for another $99 you can get the Apple TV, put that on your TV, and you can take a video of your kids on your iPhone, jumping their bikes or whatever, go in there and you can push that video immediately to your Apple TV. I mean immediately, and you can watch it in 1080p if you want to. And that is a great thing. Now the ChromeCast trumps it in the fact that it has the HDMI, I don't know what it stands for, CEC.
Yeah.
So when you activate a Chrome tab or something to push to it, and you got the right TV, it's going to switch over to that input. You don't have to touch a remote. It just does it. And this TV back here is like 4-5 years old. Samsung LED 55-inch. And it's got the technology. So it's got to be out there pretty prevalent. That is one thing that I thought is very cool, because that's something you can just teach your kids. They could be watching something. I guess I could try something with this this iPad thing to see if I can push the video to it. But that's a cool thing. You don't have to change inputs, and that makes it friendlier for your wife.
That makes it really friendly, especially a lot of the hubbub about the Xbox 360 and the pass-through and all that. Kind of neat if you just send something to it. And this brings up an interesting issue. I know on Windows Weekly last week they discussed, hey, Microsoft has Smart Glass, and no one talked about that. The Xbox is not a $35 That's
Yeah.
the whole issue, and that's why I
Yeah, I
was
would.
hoping
Yeah,
that
completely.
when Xbox made their big announcement, we've talked about this before. I was hoping to see, and especially people like me, I'm not a gamer, but like a $99 Xbox media device. And I
Yeah.
think this
And
makes it even more needed.
what
Because
happened to
everyone else has it.
Miracast?
Right, yeah.
No, they need this. Did didn't I just say was some podcast they need to get back into hardware? Or I think
Mhm.
I was thinking this out loud, and because I was thinking out loud, I thought, oh, Microsoft needs to get back into hardware. Do you remember when they made actual routers,
Yes.
sold them at Best Buy, and they were
Yep.
horrible, and they dropped the line? Yeah. No, but they need to get into this little line of gear to
The-
complete the circle of the ecosystem
I'm not
because
saying it has to be
that
$35, but like a $79, $99 even Xbox Media, call it Xbox Media Player. Use the Xbox name. It's
yeah,
you're going for the living room that has that Xbox interface and stuff, and I can throw stuff from my phone or my Surface or my Windows 8 machine.
an Xbox streamer, you know?
Right, whatever it is, however they want to call it, but they need something because
It's I mean, I don't know all you guys listening where you come from and if you're an iPhone guy or if you've even looked at it. Uh, the the Apple stuff is a little crazy. There's no web interface. You have to use software to get into it. Uh, you can get into it from Windows or Mac. They make software for both, or you can get it from your iPhone and enable the either a router or an access point or WDS or whatever you want. And but it's it's a great ecosystem. I know they give Apple a hard time about their routers and everything, but it's really it's it's nice stuff. It works. I have whole home audio, and all I have to do is just pick up the phone and start a playlist from Amazon Cloud Player on the
right,
iPhone. I can't
right.
do that with my Windows phone. I want to do that.
The the I mean, I think people, like I said, they like to mock Apple. It might be more of cost. Some of the routers a little more money than your standard D-Link router. But you're right. If you get all app, it works. If you had a Mac, an iPad, an iPhone, your MacBook Air, and your TV and stereo, everything would work just pretty simply. Google can't do that. They're trying, but Google's TV was a big, complicated mess. And it was, you have every TV manufacturer trying to make their own smart TVs with crappy interfaces and crappy apps. But $35, even if all it did was send to Chrome, send to the thing from my Chrome browser. That's the whole. Let alone YouTube, which I'm not a big YouTube watcher. I know a lot of people seem to spend hours on there. Netflix, that's huge. Netflix is huge. It's interesting. I guess it would be a pain. When you're traveling, everyone's like, "Hey, just take the Chromecast with you." You have to, I guess, every time set it up on the same Wi-Fi network,
Well, you could.
but you have to do it and set it up every time. But it should work. People used to bring the airport expresses with them to the hotels.
Look, I bought two.
Is it hers?
I bring one, or I used to.
Right, the
I have a
Express, right?
travel router that's a non-Apple one now. It's about the
Okay.
same size. That's what I
Okay.
bring. But yeah, when I went to CES, I would bring one all the time. Um,
Right. So if
it's
you
an
had to,
open standard though. Airplay's an open standard. It's just
right.
trying to find. I would buy an app. Again, I would pay $20. That's my number today. If there was a Windows Phone app that would make your system-wide audio output a choice to AirPlay, because I want to hear everything. I want to play music. I want to play podcasts. Sometimes, Darren, it's cool to push YouTube audio to AirPlay because
Okay.
you can get different things. Like
Right.
having kids, they would always want to hear the theme from Batman. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, doom, 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 doom. You can find that on YouTube a lot easier than you can
Mhm.
find anywhere else, and you can just push that audio out, and it makes it cool, and you become a really cool dad by finding the Batman thing.
There you go.
But
It's or
I would pay good money for that.
even if they found a way to do it over Wi-Fi, there's got to be a way to do it. Even if I know we have a lot of these Bluetooth music things, but that means have to stick your phone on top of it, whether it's doing NFC or Bluetooth. Um, even though NFC just starts the Bluetooth thing. People think it's different standard, but you still have to put it on top of it. They're missing. They're going for the living room, and it's the Xbox One. I think is priced okay. I know that was a big debate, the $499 for what it comes with, but they need a lower model, and I'm not talking a 360.
Well, it priced me out.
Right, because I'm not a gamer.
I couldn't justify $500. I can sneak in a $229 27-inch monitor sitting over here, but past the accounting department, but I can't sneak in a $500 Xbox.
Right. If you're a gamer, I can see it, and I don't, to play Madden once in a while.
I don't game either, so I got you. It's a big media center extender for me.
Right. That's my point. So we need something that just does the media part, and they price it as that.
I got the seat and echo, but I still can't AirPlay to it.
And you have hooked up wire. You have speakers throughout your house. I mean.
Yeah, it's all crazy. It's all cool.
So I just feel like they're trying a lot of different things, but they need a cohesive. They better come up with something cohesive and something quick.
Make me an environment. That's
because they're gonna wake up one day and it's gonna be like everyone has something already, and that point of getting them to switch, it's hard enough now, but it's gonna be harder in a year because you can't just catch up. You have to catch up and pass on certain things and let the others catch up to you, and that's how it works. Mm-hmm. But if you're just doing the catching up and not passing, you're always going to be running in place. And I think they have the products, and I think that's about it for the phone. This is a Surface.
I want to share something with you to take us into the next one. I want to share something with you because I learned something that is just huge. I was searching for a laptop for like the last 4 days. I'll tell you, in the last week, I sold the iPhone 4S. I sold that on eBay. I sold the MacBook Air on Craigslist, and I got
jokes on you. No,
you know what? I got top dollar for both devices. What I think is top dollar. 2010 MacBook Air, I got half its value in cash. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that with a Windows laptop, but that's not the point. The point is I'm shopping for a laptop. I'm at Fry's, I'm at Best Buy, and I'm at the Microsoft store. And I'm looking at a lot of laptops. I'm looking at a lot of touch. And so I'm looking at Windows 8, right? A lot of Windows 8. A lot of Windows 8. And I got home, and I pull up my Surface RT, which is sitting here, and I have 8.1 on it. And I was wondering, why am I having such a horrible experience shopping for laptops? And it's because it's Windows 8. It's not a great experience. I'm going to show you my RT. Look how I have one start screen on my RT. I know this is a little weird. I mean, a lot of people have tons of icons. There's my icons. Great. But look at my start screen, how it's laid out. I got big ones, medium ones, and I got this little group of small ones over here this is my stuff. That's my go-to stuff. And the Windows 8 experience that I had shopped with over the last couple of days was horrible. I hated it. 3 rows of blocky icons on most of the stuff I'm looking at. And it just opened my eyes to what maybe other people are thinking when they see this thing. And it's
especially if they don't even know. And we know about it. You went to the store saying you understand Windows 8.
Correct.
Imagine if your Windows Vista machine just died.
Yeah, and you're like, swipe from the what?
Yeah.
Right? Why do I swipe from the right? Yeah, so, man, it opened my eyes. It totally opened my eyes. And
we're starting to see good hardware. For a while, the hardware was the problem. And we're starting to see there's options out there now. There's some
hardware will come.
And I think it's starting
and that's the other thing that I decided. I was like, you know what? I was looking at a couple, one Haswell and one third generation i5 laptop, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't pull the trigger, Darren. The other thing is I went into Best Buy today, and I was looking at a Samsung Ativ Book 7,
Right.
and I walked up to it, and I just was starting conversation, and this young kid comes up to me, and I was like, you know what? I didn't realize until yesterday that this was not fourth generation processor. This is not a Haswell processor.
Right.
The young kid looks at me, kind of dumbfounded. He goes, "Oh, we don't have that processor. All we have are AMD and Intel." I
Ba-doom.
looked back at him. You know what I said? I said straight to him. I wasn't snarky or anything. I said, "I'm going to move on now." I
That's
was dumbfounded. I was dumbfounded. I'm just going to move on now. He's like, "Oh, okay." And he walked away. He never talked to me again.
well. I mean, this is
That's a Best Buy thing. I'm just saying.
that's not a best. That's a retail thing, and
No,
it's a
true.
retail thing that's really gotten really bad in the last 20 years. And when I was a wee little 20-year-old, I worked one holiday season at Circuit City, and this is
Oh.
when Circuit City was still doing okay, and they were paying commission.
Yeah, Circuit City was commissioned.
They were commission based at this point.
Hmm.
And before they let you make a dime of commission, they made you go and sit in these training classes about every. I was doing audio video. Every friggin' product you were selling and what the terms meant and everything before they let you sell something. Pretty soon, Best Buys opened across the street from every Circuit City, paid half of what I was making, and it wasn't a lot. I still, I was a kid trying to make a few bucks, and they didn't know anything, but they were paying less, so they were able to charge a little less. And enough people went. Circuit City eventually dropped the commission thing, and that was the end of their store. That was the end.
Hmm.
But the whole retail experience, and I think Best Buy at this point, they're losing out to Amazon. They're losing out to Walmart. Should say, you know what? We're going to create a premier shopping experience. You're not going to win at the low end at this point. They've lost the low end. They tried to win the low end. They got rid of some of the people. They got rid of Circuit City and some of the other vendors and some of the other stores. But at this point, if they're going to compete with Walmart, they have to say, you know what, we're going to have people that know what to talk about. We might you might pay a few bucks more, I don't know, or make it up somewhere else. Find a way to pay their salespeople a few more and pay them to go for training and mandate training and treat them more like you. I think they can have a place for. There are a ton of people who have no clue what they're buying, but if they're going to Best Buy and Walmart getting the same BS answers, why go to eat? Who cares? Go to Walmart or go to Amazon. You just go online and order it. You're not if you're getting. It's one thing, by the way, to get no information. The worst is how much time you get false information.
Very true.
It's scary, and I think it comes to the point where and that's not hard to follow. If you're the guy who's selling, when I was 18, if I was selling computers, I'd be like, ooh, I want to know what I'm selling. You just go online for 5 minutes. You'll know what the Haswell means, or the Intel, or the AMD.
Well, I mean that's a difficult term, and the guy was probably fresh, but
Okay, but it goes to the point of, I think Best Buy at this point, if they're going to succeed, have to, and I think they know this, and I think that's why they're doing the stores within a store, and I think each company gets to train the employees that work within the store within the store, because they know this. They have to create a reason for people to go to Best Buy, because going to Best
to a product shop to do it online.
Right. Well, it used to be, because that's where you got your CDs and DVDs.
Let me tell you how they can do that. Because I was comparing my Microsoft experience with my Best Buy experience.
Mm-hmm.
Best Buy, I went into the one 82nd Street here in Indianapolis, which was the one that is supposed to be the Microsoft store. Very nice layout. It wasn't quite as enclosed looking like a Samsung store setup. So I didn't really know I was within a Microsoft boundary that I was supposed to be representing.
They probably didn't put the signage up yet. It's supposed to be big signage.
Well, no, it was up. It was up very high.
Oh.
But it didn't like wrap me.
Okay.
Like when I walk into the Samsung experience, it's all around me.
You know it. And same with the Apple.
The Microsoft one was just 500 laptops and a couple of touchscreens, and it was confusing. But here's the thing. Best Buy, I went over and tried to look at the new Google tablet, the Nexus 7. And when I touched it, the alarm went out. Wee, 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 wee. You know, it's annoying enough where you're just like hands off, like I did it. I don't know what I did, but I did it. He's like, guy came over, fine. Happens all the time. You just reset it, fine. Puts it back. I'm like, all right, cool. I pick it up off the tether and grabbing it. Wee, 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 wee. I can't even unlock the freaking thing. 3 times, Darren. 3 times. I walked away. I was gonna buy one of these. Because that's what I do. I buy these
Right.
little gadgets. They lost a sale. I don't know who is brazen enough to grab a laptop off of the counter and steal it and walk out the door with it, and why it is so different from Best Buy than it is at Microsoft. Microsoft,
And Best Buy has the guy standing at the door.
I am able at Microsoft to unplug the power, pick up the laptop, actually feel its weight, close its cover, turn it around, and I can sit on the ground, put it on my lap, and try this thing out. Microsoft is cool with that. They're just like, whatever you want to do, whatever.
It's the Apple Store.
I'm sure I could put it under my arm. I'm going to go try this outside. You know, and they would be like, all right, go.
Doesn't Apple have? I think if you go on their app while you're in the store, you can just pay for something and pick it up and leave.
Yeah.
Just the accessories. Just go.
The thing is those tethers and the Best Buy experience. I had a bad experience.
I agree.
Bad experience. So, and I know this to be true. I've known this for years, but it was a bad experience. So I hope someone from Microsoft is listening. Untether your stuff in your Microsoft stores within the Best Buy. Create some boundaries where I know I'm walking into Microsoftville.
Right, different floor or something different.
Because I feel like I'm just walking into Best Buy. This is the computer section. Darren, it may not have been done. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe their store within a store is not completed. But if I go to the Apple section, I know. Because everything's white and silver.
And same with the Samsung. It's all white also.
Samsung is white and silver. Damn copycats. But I knew I was within certain boundaries because there was a Samsung TV, there's a Samsung tablet, there's a Samsung phone,
the Notes,
and a Samsung laptop. It was unmistakable where I was and what vendor I was looking at. They hit that one out of the park.
The best thing was that with Best Buy was like they had the sign Pebble. So like, oh cool, let me look at the Pebble watch. Let's see what it looks like. People talk Kickstarter, people talk. Where's the Pebble? I don't know. Okay, bye.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing. The store that I went to, this was the Noblesville store. And 82nd Street was the same way. It was disgusting. I went in at opening, store opening, and every single one of those screens was smudged, gross, fingerprints on every keyboard. There was no pride in that store whatsoever. The store looked dirty to me. It was disgusting to touch it. It was disgusting.
That's the best. That's retail right now. That's except for a few places that have, we talk about the Apple Store. It's obviously successful and always packed.
The Apple Store, you see them walking around with rags and wiping those things down.
And they pay their
Best Buy
employees.
at least do it twice a day. Twice a day. That's all I'm
Right.
asking. At 10 o'clock, I better walk in. I better be the one smudging up your laptops. I don't want to see yesterday's smudges. It was gross. They lost a sale on the tablet, and today I was going to. I was almost talked into that at TEV 7, and I was just like, what am I doing? I'm kind of grossed out right now. I'm not buying from this store. I just couldn't give that store any money. I couldn't do it.
And Microsoft knows this. That's why they're going big with their own retail, and they keep opening more and more. I see on Twitter every day, coming here, coming here.
Okay, well, they need to get someone out there. If you want to send me as secret shopper, I will feed back to you. I will tell you. I will help you. That's what I do. I go and I fix laptops when they're broke on the display, so someone can come in and look at it, and it will represent the product well.
And you'll gladly do this for a steak and shake burger.
I'm trying to lower my cholesterol.
All right.
Chicken sandwich.
Korea fried chicken sandwich.
Grilled.
Oh, right. I'm sure it's much better.
RT.
RT.
I was so refreshed to get back to my RT, but that's my laptop right now.
And it probably
And
does 95% of the things you do.
I think that I'm going to wait. I'm on 8.1, and 8.1's kind of frustrating me too because it's freezing.
Did you
But
do the updates from last week? That seemed to help me a little bit.
all the updates.
Oh.
I need more updates.
They skipped this week on the RT.
But
We lost that.
so far, so good. I have my RT. I think I'm going to do what I thought it was the unthinkable. I think I'm going to add a Bluetooth mouse to it. And
I do it all the time.
just sit at my kitchen table, and it's my laptop until I can find something Haswell. So,
like I said,
and
the Haswells, the Haswells on the Microsoft side are pricey.
you're going to ask yourself, what am I still doing with this?
I thought you sold it on eBay.
I did.
And
The punk hasn't paid.
I thought how does eBay work? I haven't used eBay since I was like 12.
All you can do is just report an unpaid buyer.
Oh, they don't pay. It doesn't automatically
Yeah.
pay when they win the
Put
auction.
your hand out. Slap. You did not pay. So I emailed the guy. I'm like, dude, are you going to pay for this? And he's like, well, I'm trying to pay for an anniversary gift from my girlfriend. I'm like, well, when do you think you're going to pay?
I didn't know you sold it to comic book guy from The Simpsons, but
It's comical, is what it is. It's eBay and Craigslist is so crazy.
so see, I assumed you had to put. I just assumed they had your credit card information when you made the bid. That would be
I
stupid.
wish that would be nice.
Wouldn't that make sense?
No, you have to go in and pay by some means.
Oh, right, PayPal, which they also own.
Right. You have to. So I'm stuck with, okay, do I report this guy and relist my W3
Or wait.
and possibly lose money? I could lose money. Or wait this guy out a couple of days, gazelle it. Surface Jordan, have you looked up a W3? They're like, no, we don't want that.
We will gladly recycle it and send you a free box.
Exactly. It's got $2 worth of copper and $1 worth of recycled materials. Here's your $3.
Oh.
I did. I read Surface Jordan's review. I didn't learn my lesson. Let me just tell you this, though.
$27.
I sold it on eBay for $10 loss.
Wow.
So that's worth it to me. I got a review, I got some tweets, I got some pictures, $10 loss. I got to hold it. I proved to myself that this is the form factor I want
Yes.
in the future.
Hence the Nexus 7.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to try the Nexus 7, but looks like I'll have to order it from Amazon or something because Best Buy failed me.
Someone else selling? Who else has it? I don't even know who else has it. But anyway, the RT. Back to RT.
Back to RT. Is this thing, you can buy RT in Walmart, right?
Apparently it's sold out.
Now, why is that big news?
Well, the price drop, and apparently I don't believe this article, so I don't know if you want to read it. You could go ahead and read the article.
It's Mary Jo's, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm not going to read it. I'll put the link in the show notes.
We'll put the links there. There was a big thing last week that on the Walmart website, all of a sudden, the out of stock on the 32 gig and the one with the touch cover for $449. I don't know.
Maybe they're just not buying anymore.
Right. I'm just thinking maybe they shipped them back a part of the write-off. That's what I was thinking. I don't think people went and bought them.
Yeah. That's my take. I thought, why are we getting all bent out of shape here? And I saw some folks saying, well, this just means Surface 2 is on its way, because that's what happens when you run out of stock.
Possible.
I still think we have stock. I think this whole write-down issue was about the stock.
Of course it is.
I don't think we've seen the last of this talk about stock.
I don't know. What happens with... I mean, I think we'd see the next Surface, and Surface Droid just said. I think the next Surface comes with 8.1. Well, that's the thing. 8.1 RTM's August. Will be able to download it. I don't know, online. I assume October we'll start seeing it on hardware. So I would look for more of an October launch for a new Surface, and hopefully a Haswell Surface Pro which I hope they tell us about soon, so you know what you're waiting for.
Exactly.
I think that's a no-brainer. I think the Surface Pro, we'll see a Surface 2.
And we'll see a Surface 8.
But we were both bullish. I liked my Surface RT. I still do like my Surface RT. It serves a purpose. There are many things it does great for the battery life. I have a sneaking suspicion we saw the end of the Surface RT and the end of the Surface Pro, and we're going to see a Surface 2, which is going to be a Haswell chip, and that's going to be it. I think that's what we're going to see next. I
can't disagree with you.
I don't think we see two devices anymore. And it's a shame because I think RT has a place, but as soon as they gave out that Acer Iconia W3 that you just held up, I wrote it in the piece that we got some fun comments on the blog that was the nail in RT's coffin. Because if RT's not on the small device, what in the world is RT doing?
See, I think maybe there was some pushback from Acer on this. They said, we'll push out your 8-inch because I put in my piece that I think Microsoft asked Acer, give us an 8-inch. We need an 8-inch. We need a proof of concept. Get it fast. Only Acer can do it. And they did it. And it was junk. And they did it fast. And I think RT2, I think it'll be 8-inch.
So you think they'll be okay? So I could see that. I could see the 10-inch would be the RT. Well, the Surface 2, or Pro, whatever, will be the same size, Haswell, and you think the RT will just be a smaller version?
I think so.
See, I don't think Microsoft. I hope so, but I have a feeling we're going to see an 8-inch Pro.
I got to put my money on one horse, and that's going to be my horse.
Listen, I hope so, because I think I don't like the experience of desktop unless we still have a desktop in RT for right now, because they can't, there's still certain things that's to be done on there.
Sometimes I vote with my heart, and my heart tells me that the x86 experience on an 8-inch just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't. There's no reason for it. That's the whole thing. What you're using an 8-inch tablet for is definitely more consumption than productivity, and consumption is low wattage processors, the ARM processor, running RT. If it had the apps, you can already watch Netflix. I know we both want Amazon Cloud Player. Has Hulu Plus. It has the internet. It has Twitter. Facebook is coming to it. That's what it's for. So why not just extend the battery life to as far as you can, and that's an RT thing. I don't know. Are they going to zoom the RT?
They can't yet. I don't know. I mean, maybe part of this write down was. I mean, it's an inventory thing, right?
Right.
It's not digging a hole and throwing it away.
No.
It's a write down.
They're already giving them $99 at every tech event.
I think that and that's what they're. Yeah, exactly. I do think that they come out with an 8-inch, but I don't think that this is working RT, even though I like it, and I'm going to put my.
I agree, and I think it's a mix of many things, including yes, they put a lot of money in the ad campaign, but maybe some of that should have been spent on the product. But
I'm having trouble with it, Darren. I mean,
there are certain things that does bug me, but I think 8.1 fixes a lot of those things.
Look how far away.
I can't see anything except you, but that's okay. On live stream.
When I'm holding it as a tablet, a landscape tablet, because portrait does not work with this thing.
No, it's definitely 8.1 works a little better. At least the icons change a little bit.
Yeah, but
portrait,
we're holding our my thumbs. I can't type on it. I tried to type a little, like an article or something. I have to do the hunt and peck. The other thing is, I'm a couch laptop guy.
Okay, what about when the RT stops turning on?
What's that?
I said, what if when the RT won't turn on? What do you do?
Oh, you got to hold it down. That's 8.1.
Just
hold it down.
No,
I think it's like 5 to 8 seconds.
Oh, okay. I think I have more of the problem where this thing is just power draining.
It's 8.1.
Even when I have it closed.
I freeze twice a day. Yeah. Easy. This thing is impossible. It's not a laptop. This is not a laptop.
Though if you put the right keyboard on, it's fine.
But no, I mean I've got the Type keyboard. I cannot. It's hard to balance in your lap with the thing, with the kickstand. You put this on a surface, a hard surface like this table. It's
Right.
fantastic. It doesn't get any better than that. It's the best at the kitchen table or the breakfast table reading news and flipping through stuff.
Right, which is a consumption device. And it would be great on 8-inch. That would be just as good on an 8-inch device.
But I try to take it like, okay, I want to consume. I want to consume RT in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
I prop my pillow up. I want to read. It's hard. It's so much harder. But it's not on this. It's not on this 8-inch. This 8-inch is just it's the form factor. This is the win.
I agree. And
Much as I love my RT, I can't.
one thing, did you notice something with the
my
Nexus 7? One thing with the Nexus 7, which is kind of funny because Microsoft got a little bit of heat of it on it, it's that 16:9 form factor. iPad's the only one left at 4.3. I mean, there are a few other Android ones. So the Nexus 7 has a really big, I mean, if you hold it straight up and down, it has a really big bezel on top and bottom because they want you to hold it in landscape, and they give you good area to hold. So it's just interesting they did go there with the 16:9, which the iPad can't. And apparently the iPad mini now, another one's coming, but not the high-res display. Better processor, but not a high-res display, which is interesting considering the Nexus 7 and the new Kindle Fire have unreal displays.
Yeah.
So, but I think we're going to see a Surface Pro is going to be called the Surface 2. I just think that's where they're going.
Yeah, and maybe I'm predicting with my wants more than I'm predicting with my head. But
I think possibly we'll see more of an 8-inch Nokia maybe running Windows Phone.
I'm all over that, Darren. I like it. I like that.
There's more rumors of a Nokia tablet today, and do you think Nokia goes Windows 8 or Windows RT, or wouldn't it be cool if they just pushed the phone up, took out the phone app, and there you go?
There's no way they go RT. There's no way. No way.
Mm-hmm.
No way. I think that last shot that they put across their bow about not innovating quick enough, I think that was it. It was like, we need innovation. We need something to differentiate our phablet from the other one.
Right. Well, that's not really a phablet. Well, you think it'll be a phablet for 8-inch phone?
Well, tablet. It'll be a tablet. I think it's a great form factor for tablet. What else can I put out here in front of my gear cam? I got the iPad mini. So I read on this all day long.
Now, do you miss a high-res screen on that?
No, I don't.
Bother you?
I don't.
That's what I think about this. I thought Apple would do it because everyone else at this point is putting them on there, but I guess they're not. I mean, I think this whole and they did it with the RT when it came out. I remember the resolution's not perfect, and I think so much of this is just numbers and specking and putting numbers side by side. When you actually look at the device, it's fine. Like, I have an iPad 2 sitting around here somewhere, and the screen. Maybe if I put it next to a Retina, I notice a difference. But looking at the iPad 2 screen, it's fine to me.
I did make a mistake. I went to Fry's, and of course,
that's
my poor kid.
Yeah, that's the part of Indianapolis I'm looking forward to.
Okay, my poor kid. He's like, "Where's the iPads?
Uh-oh.
Where's the iPads?" So we walked over to the iPads, and I'm looking at the laptops. They had 15-inch MacBook Pro sitting beside, I think it was a 13-inch MacBook Pro Retina display.
Retina, yeah.
And I was just like, what is all this Retina crap? Retina. And I looked at it. I was like, that looks nice. I looked back over at the 15. I'm like, what?
You see a difference with side by side, yeah.
Like, shit, that looks nice.
Yeah,
it looked great.
Side by side, you see the difference for sure.
Yeah. So I kind of get it there. It looked really nice.
Oh, it
really
is.
Nice.
That's why I kind of like the Sony Vaio Pro has a really pretty nice screen on it for that battery life and everything. But
yeah, I was looking at a Vaio, the Haswell Vaio, and it had HD full. It was 1080p.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have
Whereas
a
a
nice
lot
one.
of them did not. And I was taking that into consideration, but I erred on the side of caution because that's the first Haswell laptop, and they're
Mhm.
having heating issues. So
Yeah. Well,
just like, I wait. I'm
that's one
always waiting.
thing. If you notice, Apple and their Haswells on the MacBook Air, if you notice, the CPU speeds are clocked down quite a bit from the last generation of Airs, and I think that's because they didn't want the heating issues. I think they figured it out before they shipped it, and
Yeah,
people don't
it's
know.
amazing to me that
How come
they
they
have
get
their
it?
Haswell out, and we have a Sony.
How come they get? Not only is it out, people are using it, and just the battery life is unreal on it, and it's frustrating. Intel and
Yeah.
Microsoft has a pretty good partnership, and they're going to sell a lot more Microsoft PCs than they will. It's unreal. It's
Yeah, and the
something.
Sony has Wi-Fi issues, and the fan is turning into a small jet engine
Right,
because it's getting hot. They said
right,
there's fan issues. No, there's not.
right. The fan's
There's a
working right,
there's a complete Intel Haswell issue.
but I think that's why Apple is selling. I think it's the i5 1.3 gigahertz is the Haswell they're selling in all their Airs. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's for a good reason. I think they knew you're giving up something at somewhere. You can't just keep pushing and pushing. And first of all, maybe it's just me. Could they have done something with the names instead of i3, i5, i7? How about an H?
H? Why do you want an H?
Just something different. Because
Fourth
if people,
generation. Core
but
i3. You
yeah,
got a little
we
Core
understand that.
i3 dash 4 or something.
Right, we understand that. But when someone goes to the store, it's like, this is an i5 for $299. This is an i5 for $899. I'll take the
What's the
299.
difference?
Right. And this is a one
Yeah.
terabyte drive. This one has 128 gig. Well, I don't know what
Oh,
this SSD means, but
no, we only have AMD and Intel here, sir.
right there you go. Where's the Cirrus, sir?
Cirrus Logic.
Yeah, the IBM processor, wasn't it? I think it was IBM
Where's
at
your
one point.
VIA PCs? All right. RT, have we beat it down? Are we
I,
gonna?
th- I think I
I
wanted
made
to say,
the.
but here's my worry too. If RT
Okay.
does kind of dwindle, this thing we have, there'll never be another app for it, obviously, because no one's going to compile for an ARM. That's the only part I care about. I'm like, I like the device, so whether they come
Yeah.
out with a new one ain't my problem.
I just don't want to change my domain name.
Oh, the Surface, I think they'll keep going with the.
We're cool with Surface.
I think Surface is
Microsoft?
going to be their brand.
I can be Surface Geeks.
I still think a phone will come. I still think the Surface. I think we'll see a laptop. I think we'll see a desktop, an Ultrabook, and the tablet Pro thing.
Okay.
So I
Hey,
think
just
Surface.
in case. Just in case.
What are we going to buy? Samsung Geeks.
No. Good God, no. No, I got Microsoft. You'll be happy. You'll be happy. I didn't go AndroidGeeks.com. WindowsPhoneGeeks.com. That
You
work?
got that?
I got that.
Oh, there you go. That'll stay around at least 2 more years.
I am the 3%, Darren.
Four
Um,
now. Four.
I walked in and the Microsoft store and I got a text, donk donk, and the girl was like, "I heard that. That's a Windows phone." And I was like, "Yeah, I just got a text." She goes, "You have a Windows phone?"
In the Microsoft store.
Yeah, I know. Like, hey, there he is, the guy in Indianapolis that bought one. She goes, "Why did you choose a Windows phone?" And I was like, I
I'm
had to
trying to
think about
build
it.
a brand online about it.
I had to think about it. Why? And I told her, I was like, because I like to be different. That's what I thought of. I like to be different.
That's funny, isn't it? Microsoft. But when it came to desktop and everything, the Windows was the big player. And
I have
phone
low
now,
self-esteem.
we're playing the Mac role of the phones.
I'm torturing myself. I was bad last year.
It's funny. Like when you use the phone, it feels good. There's something about it. Even when if I go back from the Android to that, and you go back to the phone, it's like, wow, this looks better. But then it just does something like start banging your head. It's like, why? Like, I played around with I know I mock the Google Now stuff, but I was playing around. I'm like, next time I'm in the supermarket, and I put the supermarket name in, remind me to buy aspirin, just as a test. I walked into the supermarket, and the thing buzzed me. Microsoft has and this week they said, oh no, we're not going to compete with Siri or Google Now. Those are
Right.
niche things. I'm like, niche things, in a year they're going to be the big thing, and you're going to be a year and a half behind instead of 6 months behind. Like like that's just cool. Like if I could say to my phone, next time at the supermarket, I need milk, and I get to the supermarket, it's like, hey, don't forget the milk, dumbass. You know, like, like that's
Geofencing is cool.
that's a cool that. Forget everything else. That's cool. So between that and Google, give me faster internet at Starbucks, take all my information.
Exactly.
Take it all. Here's my Social Security card.
No, just give me quiet times. I think the next update has that, right?
I think you can turn it over. Yeah, I think
I programmed quiet times.
Yeah,
give
and
me
you
that.
can turn it. And you have to turn it over, and it'll go quiet.
Okay.
So if when you sleep, you just put it down.
I can handle that. And give me keyboard shortcuts. If I type POD, I want podcast@homeservershow.com to just fly in there. Boom.
You mean like autofill? Oh, like
Yeah.
a texture. Okay.
Yeah. Or I used to have, like when I was at CES, I would type Home Server Shows quick URL bit.ly/go live now. That takes you to my live page for Home Server Show. And I would have a quick keyboard shortcut for that. You can program it. I can type BIT and it would just fill that in.
Right.
So I think that's cool. I need that too.
And we spent some time bashing it. I want to say, going back and forth, the predictive text on the Windows Phone is awesome.
It works pretty good.
It works good, and it learns it so much faster than the other devices do.
There's some times where I've just like tick, 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 tick.
Exactly.
Send. I'm like, dang, that was nice. Okay.
That's another good point. Surface Droid makes. They have to separate the volume ringers, so it can, different things, different volumes.
Yeah, you're right.
Like Windows was always the one that had the options. Apple was the guy who locked everything down. Open.
Let's get app of the week to get out of here.
All right. What's your app of the week?
It's not by Google, but it's Google Maps.
Gmaps?
What's it really called?
I know there's one Gmap.
Tell your friends. I don't know what it's called. Here's the Google. It just says Google Maps.
Oh wow, that'll last long.
Yeah, that. I've been frustrated. I like the Nokia stuff, but I get real frustrated with it.
Not always the best directions.
Because sometimes I just want maps. I want to hit a location, and I want take me where I am.
Bing Maps does that if you go into the search.
Look around. Sometimes I just want to look around.
Right.
Also on Maps, the Here maps, I have a couple of commutes. It's hard to see on here.
I see it, yeah.
But every morning at such time, this live tile will light up with your commute and the traffic, and very cool, very cool. So I'm all about maps this last week, and I think that's it. I got. Let's see if I downloaded it. No, I didn't. I saw MapQuest in the store.
It is in the store.
And I have not tried it.
With turn by turn. That's owned by AOL now, so it's good to see.
I heard that was good.
Yeah,
the reviews looked good. I'm going to try that too. So this week, my apps are map related.
Okay, I'm going to go a game. And when I was, I grew up partially on this game, and now it's been available for a little while, but I finally started playing it. NBA Jam.
I thought you were going with Halo. I left that open for you.
I didn't even get.
Oh, you're not even Verizon.
No.
I have it.
Oh, how is it?
Yeah. It's okay.
I can get on the RT, can't I?
It's a little hand heater. If it's in the winter, it's going to be great.
Put in your socks.
Yeah.
I was saying when you
Halo.
go to the football game, but you guys have a dome, not real football.
Yeah.
You sit inside. But NBA Jam, it is awesome. It is legit the old NBA Jam with the new players and the same stupid lines of he's on fire and everything else. So it's a good time waster.
NBA Jam. There it is. Nokia. This is a Nokia thing.
It is a Nokia. Of course it is. It's good. Now I wonder, and Verizon, does Verizon has all that there you go. Verizon
I'm
has
trying
all
to
that,
show it.
there, very cool. Verizon has all that NFL stuff, part of their deal. You can watch NFL games and stuff on Verizon phones.
Oh, is it on here?
That's what I'm wondering. Does anyone know in the chat
Well,
room?
there's a Verizon collection. Let me go here. I subscribe to that. NFL Mobile. Here it is.
Right. Now I wonder if that's going to show the game, because you'd be able to watch games and stuff, weren't you, on Verizon?
Yeah.
You were able to. It's enough reason to
$5
switch
a
carriers
month.
right there.
Funny that they don't show.
Surface Droid said not on Windows Phone 8.
What? I'm seeing now playing live audio. I see live
Wow.
audio. You can pick the home and away stream.
Okay, so that's a start.
That's a start.
No, not the video yet. Okay. All right, we're only about a week away from first games, right? First preseason games.
Yeah, we got our tickets.
Got your tickets there.
Yeah.
You got tickets and a quarterback.
And we have the Broncos coming to town. So that'll be a good game.
Oh, there you
Otherwise,
go.
the
Peyton
tickets
Manning.
are kind of just so-so. Not a real good game selection this year.
The division game. I guess Jacksonville and Tennessee. No, those right there.
Big deal.
They'll be in the playoffs again. I don't want to hear complaining.
It's not like basketball, where the Bulls are coming to town. Cool stuff.
Talk. College hoops fine. NBA blah.
Right. Well, we got Manning coming back to town. That's going to be a good one. I got a Sunday night game, I think. I can't remember if I have a Monday night game, but I love Sunday night games. I'm going to the game.
Sunday night. Okay.
That's a cool thing. And Monday night, if you've ever been to NFL, live NFL football, it's a huge difference when you go to a Monday night game. The buzz is just intense.
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed. Great experience. Hey, the meetup's rolling. There's like 55, 56 attendees signed up. I have not counted myself. I'm going to have to put myself in there because if we bump up to this 90, I don't want to get in trouble with the fire marshal. I've been thinking, hey, we didn't even talk Skydrive, Darren. I got my Skydrive shirt on.
Oh, yeah, the Skydrive shirt. So
I had this prop all ready, so...
Really quick. Okay, all right, fine. There you go.
Trying to be legit and not get in trouble, so I've got Drive.
Drive. So for the few of you that don't know yet, Skydrive, Microsoft lost a court battle in the UK where Skydrive was infringing on the rights of Sky News, and it was confusing people. So Skydrive in the UK is no more, and Microsoft said, okay, we'll just change it everywhere then. We don't know to what yet, and
it disgusts me.
It's very strange. I'm so confused. Apple came out with the iPhone when Cisco already had the iPhone.
Yeah.
And they said, we're gonna go to court and we'll pay a few
bucks.
Right.
Exactly.
They did this with Metro.
Talk a grocery store into letting them have Metro.
Right. Like I'm sure. First of all, I don't know how that confuses people unless you're gonna buy Viagra on the Windows 8 store.
I don't understand. Did I ever show you my Skydrive sticker?
Yes, you have. These are collector's items. You start framing them.
Yeah, this is a double collector's item. What's on the back?
Metro, right? Now? Okay, let's really quickly before we end. Some names. Where are we going? Where should they go? And where will they go? These are gonna be.
They're gonna call it Bing Drive.
No. And Bing Drive Pro, you can't do that.
I like Skydrive. I refuse to call it anything else. In fact, I'm going to stop saying Modern UI. I'm going back to Metro.
Okay, we have Metro and Skydrive. Okay, done. Next. How about Metro Drive?
Metro.
Metro Drive.
Metro. Live Drive is a product.
Live Drive. Oh, Live Drive. But I thought they're away from Live now. I thought they gave up on the Live thing.
Live Drive's a product. You can't.
All right, that too.
It already exists.
And they went away from the whole Live naming system. That was last year.
Drive, MS Drive.
Oh goodness.
Fan Drive.
How about mCloud to go along with iCloud and
Bob Drive, Clippy Drive, Bada Bing Drive.
Kin Drive. I don't know what they're gonna do. But the funniest is they named for those on the SharePoint side, the files now sync down, and they renamed that to Skydrive Pro a few months ago, confusing the hell out of every enterprise customer. Now just to take it away, they went through all that and said, no, it's gonna work, and no. So another branch on the trail that trips them up.
Yeah.
It's been a frustrating summer.
It has. I had a bad technology week.
I was so optimistic in the winter and spring. Summer's supposed to be cheerful.
Share drive and air drive. We're reading these from the comments. And,
yeah, but I think those are all things by now, you know? It's like all the .coms being taken.
Retina drive. That's it.
Ooh, Retina drive.
Retina drive.
How about the thing you log into you open your Windows?
Effing drive.
Effing drive. And now, I assume they'll have this done by the time 8.1 launches.
They
have to, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Google
Partly
Drive.
cloudy drive.
There you go.
That is
done.
where we need to end it.
And that's the end of the show.
All right, Surface Geeks. This has been 32.
33.
Thanks a bunch for hanging out in the chat room, Surface Droid. Hey, Surface Droid and a lot of other guys out there in the forums are really killing it with good reviews, great comments. Please join us out there in the forums. Add to the conversations. You know, I was trolling around in Windows Central, WP Central's forums.
That's depressing.
It was just a bunch of it was like what color case are you going to get for your iPhone kind of stuff. It was horrible.
And it's also, I think part of it is that comes up as the top link for a lot. So it's like, I just got this new phone and this isn't working, so I'm just going to go bitch about it. And it turns into everyone just complaining.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the experience. So
thanks,
please join our forums, help us populate and get things going, and we'll take over. We'll be the new WindowsPhoneGeeks.com.
Windows Phone Geeks. WP Geeks.
I think it does resolve. So Windows Geeks. It resolves. SurfaceGeeks.com.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
So the Surface phone comes out either way.
We've got something to fall back on. Never fear.
Well, I think Surface is okay, but yeah, that website it's depressing.
Well, that's what the HP tablet guys thought too. Just saying.
But all right, and we'll leave on that note.
$99. We'll see you here next week. Goodbye.
Click, click.